You're listening to Ask an Economist from the Conference Board of Canada.
Well, thanks a lot for the question. For those of you just checking out the video online, you can see the question right here at the bottom. And it basically boils down to, does the government make a return on investment on their spending? And so to start with this one, I think we should really think of what a return on investment is in the traditional sense, which is for a company. A company tends to spend some money and they want a little bit more in the future. Say they spend $1,000, they want $1,100 back in the future. That would be a positive ROI. So with that concept in mind, we can go back to the question and start to answer it. And the first phase of answering is really looking at the profit measure between a company and the government, which are quite different. For a company, the profit is pretty simple. It's revenue minus cost, and they want that to be as big as possible. This differs quite a bit for the government, where they really think more of a budget balance. They want that to be close to zero, a little bit negative, and sustainable long term. The other big difference in how their finance work is the idea of how long they can take on a loss. The government, because they have such good access to credit, they can sustain losses for a long period of time and be fine. A company doesn't have this luxury. So, when we go back to the question, does the government make a return on investment on their spending? We can really say they do make some money back. If the government injects some money into the economy, their revenues will tend to rise and they'll make some of the program costs back. But it's very rare for them to make the full costs back. We know there's some that are better like infrastructure, but in general, they're not looking to recoup the cost. So, with that in mind, what we can say is while they make some money back, because they don't recoup the cost, they actually have a negative return on investment. But there's another way to think about their spending. Because of the concept of budget balance, when you think of the revenue they make back on the program, that actually really reduces the cost of the program. So for example, if there's $1 million injected into the economy, they make $300,000 back, say in income tax or sales tax, then this is really a net $700,000 program. And so the money they get back really helps them come closer to balancing the budget. So if we say the government has a negative return on investment, we might just quickly ask ourselves, well then is government spending bad? And government spending is definitely not bad. We definitely need it. If we just think in the current context with the CERB, if we didn't have a program like this, we would have bankruptcies like we've never seen before. The economic decline would have been much steeper than we've seen, and the recovery would be much slower. In fact, April job numbers already suggest that these programs are working. So when you think of government spending, you're not really doing it justice by thinking of how much money they make. When the government assesses the return on their spending, they're really looking for a societal return, the societal return on investment. Are we getting something for what we spend? That's really what people are looking for in government spending. Anyway, thanks a lot for the question. It's definitely an interesting one. As the government ramps up spending, it's definitely interesting to see, think of ways of how they can cushion the blow. So I hope I answered your question. Thanks a lot.